All right, next up, quarterback carousel. Obviously, there's a lot of young quarterbacks in the draft. Big news about some of them not wanting to take tests and
A lot of them.
show up, different things like that. But before we get to that in a little bit, let's talk about some of the already established quarterbacks that are out there or could potentially be out there, and where do you feel they may land as the quarterback carousel continues to spin?
Well, Flacco, I know you have on the board. People may forget that the Browns still have Deshaun Watson.
I
On
think
a
a lot of
guaranteed
people. I think
contract.
a lot of people have forgotten because he really hasn't done much.
You're right, but the fact is Flacco, I believe, is not going to be playing in the NFL next year. As well as he played at the end of this season, it was a flash, probably a flash in the pan because he had the opportunity, and I just don't think he's going to have the opportunity next year to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think he wants to be a backup, and go through all that.
Yeah,
He knew he had an opportunity to start games, and I think that's why he played. Deshaun Watson will be back for the Browns next year. As long as he's healthy, he'll be playing. And I don't think we'll see Flacco playing next year. Russell Wilson, who knows? He'll probably wind up back in the NFC on some team, is my guess.
I am gonna say Russell Wilson will be this year's Joe Flacco. He's got $39 million guaranteed for the Broncos, so he doesn't have to do shit. He doesn't even have to play. He could sit on his couch like Joe Flacco was doing last year, make $39 million, sit around and wait until some team's quarterback goes down and the phone rings and Sierra hands him the phone and says, "Get your ass out of the house." And then he goes and plays for the league minimum because Denver's still got to pay him that money no matter what.
Yeah.
And he could be this year's Joe Flacco. I think it's very possible because no team right now wants to give him what he wants in addition to a job, which is some more financial security after this year. Everybody's looking to get that deal for this year, that league minimum, because Denver's going to bite the bullet, right? But after that, you know that he's looking for security. After this year, he'll have made the fourth most money of any player in the NFL.
Wow.
No dude that's made that much money on a consistent basis is just all of a sudden going to be like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and play for nothing with no guarantees after that." Not going to happen. So I think he's just going to sit until somebody calls up and says, "Hey, we got no quarterbacks. You want to come finish the season for us?"
It's a possibility. I don't think that's in Russell Wilson's character. I think he wants to play. I don't think he wants to sit around.
I think he wants to play, but he also wants to make sure he's getting paid, and nobody's going to give him that.
Well, I mean,
I don't see any teams that's going to give him 25, 30 million guaranteed in 2025.
The rumor mill has said that he's open to a veteran minimum
for 1 year, though.
That's fine. Prove a deal.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that. Here's what I say. He's open to it this year because he's got that 39 mil in the bank.
Right.
He wants guarantees after that. Nobody's going to give it to him.
I mean, you're probably right
about that. If he's willing to swallow his pride and say, "Yeah, okay, I'll play for this 1 year," and then try and get another contract, okay, maybe. But other than that, nah, I think he's sitting. If I was him, I'd sit my ass on the couch.
I agree with you. I do think that nobody wants to give him the deal. But what I don't think is, I don't think he's going to sit there to try and get that deal. He will likely play for a team.
Okay.
I think he could take a team like Pittsburgh, for example. I know, get the little button.
Yeah.
He'd be probably
a good fit in Pittsburgh.
Be a good fit.
I really think he would be.
I think Tomlin could get the best out of Russell Wilson. So speaking of Pittsburgh, and another quarterback, Justin Fields, who's also on this list. Early on, I felt very, very strongly about Fields to
Atlanta.
That's starting to shift for me just because of the rumor mill, Combine, X, formerly known as Twitter, all that stuff. So now we're hearing the Falcons think that Kirk Cousins would be a guy that could take them out of a fringe playoff team tier and push them into that playoff tier. I think either one, Fields or Kirk Cousins, would take them to the next level. With that said, I think Fields to the Steelers also makes a lot of sense. I'm hearing hearing through X that the Steelers have the strongest offer. And
Yep.
take that with a grain of salt because a lot of the things you hear on X, I try to follow
Yeah.
most of the experts, but
Yeah.
a lot of it,
Most
you
of
know,
the experts.
yeah, the experts.
See what he did there?
But I digress, and
Yeah.
I do think that would be a good fit, and it makes a
think
lot
so.
of sense. You know, they're don't have a lot of money invested at the quarterback position right now, so, and you can likely get Justin Fields at a cheap rate. He's still got another year on his rookie contract. He can play out this year. If he does well, they can sign him to a long-term
Yep.
deal. If not, they can release him.
Yeah.
But the Steelers are also another one of those teams where they find ways to win even without the consistency at quarterback.
Yeah.
So if you can bring in a guy like Fields and Tomlin can help him out, they could just get in the playoffs and make some noise.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I think that I agree with you. I think Justin Fields would be a good fit in Pittsburgh as well. I think Mike Tomlin would just be a great coach for him. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he ends up. Again, I think Russell Wilson's sitting. Kirk Cousins, I agree with you. I think that he could make a big impact in Atlanta. Their division is not very strong.
Nope.
I know obviously Baker had a great year last year compared to most of his seasons, but I still think that Atlanta, with the skill set, the skill position players they have, they're above average quarterback away from running away with that division, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think so too. They have so much talent with all the draft capital they've invested in offensive talent.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Drake London. These guys are they're not bad players. They are good players. They will be great players with more exceptional play at the quarterback position. And that offense could be really, really good. I think Arthur Smith wasted a little bit of those players' time the last year or so. But next year, with the right caliber quarterback, that offense could really be humming.
Yeah, when you think about it, Pittsburgh and Atlanta are very similar.
Very similar.
Got a lot of really good skill position players.
Yeah.
I would say obviously Pittsburgh's defense is probably better.
Yes.
But on the offensive side, they're very similar, and they both have just subpar quarterbacks. And if they can get someone in there that can drive the ball, maintain, sustain drives, not turn the ball over, make good decisions, protect the ball, all that good stuff, get field goals instead of punts. Sometimes that's a win. I think obviously they'd be in a much better position. And I was listening yesterday. There's some murmurings about the Steelers possibly giving Kenny Pickett another season. I think if they do that, that'd be the biggest mistake that they could possibly make moving forward. Right now is the opportunity to get a proven quarterback. Even though Justin Fields isn't as proven as these other guys, he's still shown flashes. Yeah. So I would say I would take him over Kenny Pickett any day of the week, and twice on Sundays, which is when you play.
That's right. Yeah, the Steelers' offensive line is really their weakest link, but their offensive line improved as the season went on. They have a really good young core. They got Najee Harris, Jalen Warren in their running back room. They got Deontay Johnson. They have Pickens. I mean, Freiermuth. They have weapons on offense,
they just need
the ball. A facilitator and someone to get them the ball. Fields' athleticism, his decision-making got better as the year went on, and that's what you're looking for. Yeah. I think with Kenny Pickett, it's quite the opposite. He's kind of, what's the word I'm trying to get out here? He's just stayed still. He's been stagnant. That's the word I'm looking for. You haven't really seen any progression out of him. I think we've seen all we need to see out of Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I think we've seen what we're going to see.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's our thoughts on the QB carousel for quarterbacks that are already in the league.
Yeah. So already in the league, I was getting ready to get in the rookies.
Yeah. We'll chat about the rookies here in just a second. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check out the next video coming up in just a minute.